I did a corporate gig.
Yeah? Where?
It was in Hyde Park, which is like a really like nice part of Tampa.
I'm trying to get a corporate gig at that Hooters over by...
Always be friends forever.
Welcome to Your Only Friends, where friendship is first, but comedy is always. I'm your host, Jared Dykas. This is a reminder, we are your only friends. Today on the show, I have a very, very, very special guest. He is one of my favorite comedians, if not personally my favorite comedian that I've seen in person at Sunshine City Comedy Club. Welcome to the show, Mr. Lance Weiss.
Well, thank you, and I have a lot of thoughts on that. Didn't you have DC Benny on as well? Haven't you seen him live?
I did, but for the record, personally.
Wow.
Personally. And Kenny knows this as well. I tell everyone, like, you are my favorite style of comedy that I've seen in person here locally in Tampa, having since started comedy. So.
I appreciate that. There's only one thing to say, and I think I told you this before. You need to see more comedy. If I'm your favorite, there's a wealth of things to look at elsewhere. Yeah, that's what I always say. I'm decent sometimes, but if I'm your favorite, there's some other.
You got a mental disorder if you're. If
of course, you got to have a mental disorder, dude. We're doing a podcast here in the middle of the day on. I don't even know if you can say what day this is. This is not a real.
It's the Lord's Day.
It is Sunday. It's middle of Sunday. We should be at the beach, but we're in this hot studio in downtown. I don't know if you give away the location.
Dude, we can tell them what floor we're on, dude. I want them to find us. Seriously.
Dude, we're on the 69th floor here in St. Pete. A lot of tall buildings.
What do you think of St. Pete? You travel everywhere, man. So compared to other places.
Yeah, I perform at all the worst venues in the country. So you name it. Behind a dumpster, at a Buc-ee's, any Chuck E. Cheese, Rest Stop, Spencer's Gifts. You keep going? I got to show at Ron John's, actually. You know those signs? I got to show 700 miles from here. Keep going. God, we're ripping early on this podcast.
Yeah, we got it.
I've already burned my
all
energy.
your material.
What am I talking about? Yes, I love St. Pete.
Talk about it.
I like it. Where do I look? Do I look at you or the cameras? I don't know where to look.
You can look at me.
Maybe I do the whole podcast at this. I won't look at you once. I'll do the whole podcast at the camera.
Yeah, you do keep on looking at the cameras. You're more interested in the audience than me.
I'm nervous. I always get nervous in these things.
Well, the lights, too, it's like way more than at some clubs.
It feels like the real deal, and it feels like we have to do well.
Yes, this is a very professional podcast in my opinion.
It's scary.
It's scary. Like after this, I might make cold calls out there, and I might have you join me.
Really?
No.
Oh, all right.
It's Sunday. You can't legally.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're not allowed to?
Not on Sunday, but who cares?
Oh, interesting.
St. Pete.
Yes, I love it.
Downtown specifically.
I like it.
What's your opinion of downtown St. Pete?
I don't know it super well, but from what last time I was here, I worked at some coffee shops and walked around kind of by the water, I think. There's there's some restaurants and stuff. Maybe there's some boats.
But you like living in New York City more?
Yes and no. New York City is awesome for stand-up comedy. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. As a quality of life, it's a terrible place. It's awesome because you get to do everything, right? You can go to Broadway, followed by a Yankees game. I don't really care too much. I like Broadway better than Yankees game. But my point is you can do that. You can literally go Broadway, Yankees, then see a comedy shows, and see a jazz. Like in one night, you can we just did everything. But as far as it's hard. I mean, it's hard.
Are you a fan of culture, if that makes sense?
Of course. Yeah. I do like that about New York. Mm-hmm. I just moved back to Astoria, Queens.
Hell yeah.
Which has Queens, that people don't know, is the most diverse place in the world, in the entire world. And Astoria, the food there is amazing. The food in Astoria is spectacular. So yeah, I love culture. I love all the people. I love all the food. I love all the different celebrations. I love all that stuff. So that's where New York is great.
And in terms of audience, like you travel all up and down the coast with your Prius, and I got to ride in it last night.
Yeah, Toyota Prius. I'm trying to get sponsored by them.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a phenomenal car.
Yeah, people don't know.
It really was very sweet. But you go all around, in this car, and you go to the worst venues, like you say.
Yes, fives of people. I'm there.
But have you noticed, like, I'm curious, and I like to ask this to people who go on the road.
Yeah, no, where are these women? I haven't noticed them. Where are they?
No.
Come on.
I'm saying, are people different? Meaning, like, our audience is different, or is it really just the same audience, if you get what I'm saying?
People are people, but... So I just bought a Prius, my first car ever. I put 25,000 miles on it in the last 8-9 months, which is a lot of miles for a car. I'm trying to get sponsored by Prius. People are people everywhere. They're the same. But I will say, when you go to some like more rural, that's a hard word. Rural. That's one of the hardest words to say.
One of the hardest.
To say rural.
With my Jersey accent, I can't.
Yeah, rural. When you go to rural areas and wherever, the Prius gets hate.
Yeah,
people hate on it. I've been called several slurs when I talk about my Prius. On stage. If I just mention I drive a Toyota Prius, I've had multiple people in different states shout things at me about it not cool.
Yeah,
and it rules. So you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
Toyota Prius rules.
Yeah, I think we needed to hear that. And you are one of the coolest people.
Dude, hell yeah, I'm cool as hell, dude.
You're very cool.
Hell yeah, I fucking kick ass. And I'll kick your ass if you make fun of my Toyota Prius. I'm just going for viral clips. I'm just trying to talk in 30-second chunks.
This is the one. This is the one.
Yeah, if you be loud and punchy, that's how we can go viral on these things. Yeah. Can we get some more dudes in here?
Yeah, can we get more dudes?
In this hot studio, there's 7 dudes producing this thing, and you and me just sweating in this place. It's one of the worst podcasts I've ever done. I'm just doing my act now.
Doing my What is this? What is this?
Yeah, this isn't even real wood. I don't know if this is even in the shot. It's a fucking plastic table here.
Oh my gosh.
What are the questions? I'm just shouting at you. I'm sorry.
No.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Party with Lance on Instagram.
Dude, it's not.
Get it.
It's not that part of the show. Dude. Oh my gosh. Lance, you've been doing comedy for a very long time.
Yes.
You took some time off during COVID.
I took 4 years off the beginning of when COVID started.
Now getting back to comedy.
Yeah.
What do you make of all the experience before COVID? What do you make of that?
It's completely different now. I mean, the internet. This is more important than any show I did in the last 2 months. Like this. If this goes big, it could be. It's different. There's more comics than there's ever been. There's always every year there's new but like all over the country. You go to any city and they're like, yeah, we have 70 people signed up for the open mic.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? And then there's people at the show. There's be an open mic with 70 comics, and there's like 60, 70 audience. And like towns you never heard of. Like there's more comedy than there's ever been.
And you believe that wholeheartedly now?
I know there is.
Yeah. Okay.
I know for a fact. Factually, I talked to other comics too who've been around 20, 30 plus.
Yeah.
Almost 40. I mean, 40 years starts to be. But I know people that are 30, 35, approach around 40, and they're like, yeah, this is the most comedy I've ever seen anywhere.
So like 10 years ago, what's like a difference between open mics right now, maybe to 10 years ago? Like what would have been the differences? Just less people or
less people? I mean, you got people at open mics now with 300,000 Instagram followers. Like that wasn't a thing. Like the internet was around, but like the rate that it is now is like somebody's like, yeah, I just started comedy 2 months ago, and they have 80,000 followers, and they're headlining like a theater.
Yeah,
that was not really happening at that. It was happening like you had Vine, right? Remember Vine?
Oh yeah, totally.
The social in there, and so there was like some Vine stars, and there were some people like, but not at the rate it is now. Like somebody like I talk about coffee mugs, and now I'm the coffee mug guy.
Yeah,
and I'm selling out. That rate of that, because I did take off 4 years, so I have kind of an interesting vantage point. I mean, we all have been seeing things, but like coming back in, like, oh my God, somebody who talks about these cups is making millions of dollars, and you never heard of like that. The rate at that happening was not happening like it is now.
For you, what is the point of
12 inches. Next question. What is this podcast? Why are we doing this?
Dude.
One of the coolest guys out there. Party with Lance on all the social things.
For you, what is the purpose of putting in extreme amount of time if someone could just get followers and then sell out? In your opinion, like, what do you make of that market? And it's the market. It's not, anything we can change, right? But what do you make of the fact that that's a possibility? Do you not like that? Do you feel like that's whatever? It's the market.
I hate all social media. I don't like.
So you don't like social media,
but I actually think it's pretty cool at the same time. Because it is cool that anybody can make whatever you want to do. You can find your people in your community, and then you can sell tickets, and you can live. I do think that's awesome. I just personally think the internet is I think this is a disease.
Yes.
Like, this is a disease. Internet, I would kill. People have laughed at me for this, but I would kill all the internet.
Yeah.
I would kill all TV, all radio, and I honestly would probably kill books.
Really?
Yeah, I would kill everything. I would kill
just
it all.
restart.
Yeah, I wish we were just like in a campfire, hanging out, like eating fruits, and like somebody's playing a whatever instrument back then.
A ukulele or something,
or
right?
a flute or whatever kind of. Some guy's clapping his hands and his knees and dancing. Like, I'd much rather be like communal, like human. I hate what we've created.
You want to tell jokes on the fucking cave walls and stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to be here right now.
Yeah.
It's fucking 12 guys in this place. Somehow more guys keep showing up.
Where are the single ladies?
It's 95 degrees in here. What are we doing? You got this rock here? I don't know what this is for. For the vibe, for the ambiance. No, this is cool. I like doing all. I'm being, is the word facetious? Word of the day. Not even sure if I
rural.
use it. Yeah, rural and facetious. Not even sure I used it properly. I'm not even sure if any of this is usable, period.
No.
But what am I talking about?
We're talking about the madness of putting in time.
Yeah. I like doing all the things. I like being on podcasts. I like doing sketches. I love stand up. That's the whole. It's all for that.
You
right?
like doing sketches?
I like all of it. I love all the arts. I like all creative endeavors. But talking about the time, I think you have to decide now, like what you. I think everybody does performing for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
You got to decide like what you want out of this. Like why are you doing it? A lot of people are in it because they want to get famous.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to get famous. They don't care if they're writers. Well, I guess there are famous writers, but they want to like be in movies or be the most famous.
The star.
They want to be famous, period. They don't care about stand-up. They don't care if they are the coffee person. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but they don't care how they do it. They just want to be famous.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's people who want to make a lot of money, which is maybe not the best choice because it's hard to make money until, you can make a ton of money in this, but not everybody makes a ton of money, right?
Absolutely.
Then there's people who like just love stand-up. Then there's people who want to do it to maybe make people's day better because life is hard. And then there's people who just like it because it makes them feel good. So you got to decide what you want out of it. For me, is there a tuba playing somewhere? I don't know if the audio's picking that up. Probably not with these good pod mics, but there's a tuba outside for some reason. It's doing the art form. It's like a whole marching
there's a
band
festival.
out here.
I think it's something going on. Yeah, it's Localtopia weekend actually.
What is it?
Localtopia.
Localtopia.
It's all the Loc dogs. They get together. There's vendors. It's right at the park over there. Yeah, yeah, it's very interesting.
All right, sounds cool. The anyway, I'm losing my mind. You have to be crazy to do this.
You have to.
I would like to have bigger crowds and make more money and but the reason I have to remind myself and why I do it because we lose. I like stand-up comedy. One, it's all blast, but I think life is hard. I think life is tough. I think life can be I always say like if you've been past like 3 years old, like bad stuff has happened to you. Like life is hard. It just is hard. So for 1 hour or hour and a half, however long a show is, if we can get people together and we can get white people, black people, Asian people, Hispanic people,
Chinese people,
straight, Chinese people, trans people, whoever, and it's like, hey, fuck all that for like an hour and a half. Can we just have a beer or whatever and like enjoy like living? And that's why I like even back to caveman times, like I was talking about. Like I think this is someone's gonna watch this on their phone or a computer. I mean, I don't know how else you'd watch it, but like that sucks. Like, I wish we were all together.
Live audience.
Yeah, I wish we were all together hanging out. And that's why I like stand-up, because it's like, for a little while, can we at least just sit as humans and, like, laugh at how absurd this whole life is? That person's going through a divorce. That person just went through a breakup. That person lost their job. That person's parent is in cancer. That person's losing their house for bankruptcy. Like, life. Life. It's tough. So can we just enjoy a moment? And that's why I do it. And yes, I would like to make more money and be, of course, who wouldn't? But at the core, that's why I do it, because I think I'm okay at it. There are better comics than me. You got to watch more comedy, and but I'm decent at it, and I get better all the time. I like to think, and hopefully, I can make people's day a little better. You know,
Yes.
so that was a long-winded answer to your question, I guess.
But to that point of your why inside of comedy, yesterday in the car, you told me that your favorite type of comedy is kind of like someone that gets you in the moment. Can you kind of expand on that?
Yeah, well, there's so much. This has been the case forever, but there's so much comedy now. A lot of comedy. I love stand-up comedy, and there are thousands of comics that I love. But there is a lot of comedy that's quite boring. It's very structurally, I guess it works, or scientifically, we were talking about yesterday, it works. But I'm bored. Like, and the crowds like aren't even really laughing that hard. They're like, haha, haha, and it's like, I don't want that. I want people like losing their mind because they heard something they never heard before, and they're like, this is a crazy person, and I'm
like last night when those girls flashed you on stage. I want to say that for the record.
We had a wild night at St. Pete at
Sunshine,
at this comedy club. It was the late down and dirty show, and people were wild. Let's just say that. It's Sunday. We got to keep it
PG.
What a wild time. What are we talking about now? I lost track.
I'm sorry. I was just
No, it doesn't matter. Wait, comedy about
your favorite type of comedy.
Yes. So I like weird comedy. Not necessarily. I like to see something different, interesting. I love people in costumes. I love clowns. I love somebody bringing weird props on this. I want to see something that because even if I don't laugh, I'm like, well, I've never seen this.
Wow,
this is interesting.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite comics are, and I was telling you something yesterday, like Roy Scovel, who I started with in D.C. 20 years ago. It's so funny, and Nick Vatterott, and like Sean Patton is super funny. Tracy Morgan makes me laugh, and not everybody likes his stand-up because structurally it's crazy, but he does weird, interesting stuff. Eric Andre, another like these. I want to see weird things happen.
Yeah,
and I could go on. There's a million of these comics that are so. Jessica Kirson is another like. Hers is different, but there's not a lot of people like her.
Yes.
Like I want to see something that I haven't seen before.
You like anomalies almost.
Yeah, or something new.
Yes.
And because that gets you in the moment, because you're like, whoa, I haven't seen this before. What's gonna happen? Where so much comedy now, it's like you're drinking your coffee and then it's you drinking and it's like, whoa, it's just boring.
Yeah.
It's just like we're just watching a speech. I don't want to be too negative on it because I think anybody that does it, it's brave because it's hard.
Yes.
But anyway, I don't know if this answers.
No, it answers, man. I mean, I think that
I feel like I should ask you questions. It feels very one-sided.
Yeah, this is a very one-sided show. Honestly, I have solo episodes where I give the audience.
Right,
I'm kidding, dude. I'm
all right. I don't know how this is going, but I don't want to just ramble the entire.
No,
unless the people are loving it.
They're loving it.
Partywithlance.com at partywithlance on socials. We gotta build it.
Do you love being a nomad?
Oh, like on the road? I love the road. I like performing in New York City because you see so many kinds of, but I love the road. There's nothing more. Because here's the thing about New York comedy, too, or at least from an audience perspective. A lot of them are just like walking down the street and you're one of three things that they're going to do tonight. They're going to go to dinner, then they're going to go see you, then they're going to go to jazz. And because it's a showcase style in most of New York, you're one of 8 comics, one of 6 comics. On the road, it's like you are the act.
Yes.
Or you're one of 3, or one of 2, or one of 4. So it's like, and you're getting a lot of time. And then people, it's different because people are going out to see you. They go to dinner too. That wasn't a great, but people will go to dinner. Like they'll get dressed up. It's like an event because specifically if you do like small towns, people will drive an hour and a half because it's like that was the thing. They bought a ticket 2 weeks ago and they're excited and so people are really excited on the road. And I like it because you meet people and I like to travel. Like I could live forever on the road.
I've noticed it seems like you actually like talking to people. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, I love people.
You do?
Yeah.
Because like even last night after the show, like people were coming up to you, you're talking to them and stuff. Like
I
like
love
that?
people. I love people. I think people are so interesting. I know I'm talking a lot, so it seems the opposite. But
DC said the same thing to me after on the recent pod. I might just not be talking that much right now. I don't know.
No, it's great. I don't mind. I'm having a great time.
Yeah, I'm having a great time.
I didn't want to hog the whole thing.
No, you're not hogging, dude. The only hog here is right there. You know.
I love people. I think they're interesting. I love to hear where someone's from. I love to hear what they do. I think it's fascinating.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to hang out their house for 7 hours, but like I'm curious. Like, oh, where are you from? What do you do? Oh, you went there? Cool. How? Like, I'm genuinely curious. I find it neat.
Is it any compassion for the fact that they saw you as well that you're kind of interested in them, or you're just genuinely
all people?
I like all people.
I like.
So when you're at a coffee shop and seeing Pete, you're talking to people.
I
just
talk
like
to
you're at a
the
show.
people working in the coffee shop. If I'm at a hotel, I talk to the people at the front desk. I have someone. Yeah, I talk to people everywhere from everything.
Were you always like that?
Pretty much, yeah.
What type of kid were you like in high school?
Fucking cool as hell, dude.
No, you weren't. Were you?
I don't know.
What type of kid were you in high school? Think about that.
Same I was now.
Really?
I always talk to everybody. I don't want to get too much into it, but I talked about it on some podcasts before. I had a pretty isolating growing up in some ways. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not saying I'm some saint, but I don't want anyone, it's a very specific experience I had. I've talked about it on previous podcasts with like just my family dynamic that not a lot of people I can relate it to. So I never want anybody to feel left out or alone. I'm not saying I'm perfect and I don't mess up every day of every hour of the day, but I want people to feel included and like they're okay, and
that's great.
I want every human to feel like they're included on everything.
And I can see that even in the way that you work the room, which like
I'm one of the greats. Partywithlance.com.
You have partywithlance.com.
Of course I got partywithlance.com, dude. Yeah, everything's Party with Lance. Keep the party going.
Keep the party going, dude.
Yeah, no, I want everyone to feel and I mess it up. I say things every hour that I'm like, oh fuck, I shouldn't have said that, and I was not right, and that wasn't kind, or anyway, I'm just
it's funny to me that you say all that because, in my opinion, like you're on stage like looking to fight people. It seems like you're literally calling people out, and you're like hoping that someone, that's what it seems like. And then yesterday I asked you, I'm like, did anyone ever get testy with you?
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I can't believe it. You're literally saying that you could beat up everyone in the room every time you get on the stage.
Yeah. I'm just mad that you gave us warm chocolate milk, dude. What are we doing in here? This is ridiculous. I wanted ice water. Give me warm chocolate milk in this place.
I asked if you wanted ice, bro. I asked if you wanted ice. Oh my god. Have you ever gotten in a fight?
No, zero fights.
Zero fights. Same here.
Well, you said something about, but on to that. I've never been in a fight for many reasons. One, I can usually talk my way out of it. Mm-hmm. I'm also fast as hell. I'm quick, dude. I stay trim. You come after me, I'll just jog away, and you won't catch me. So I'm quick in my mind. I'm pretty. Don't sound it now, but I'm usually pretty quick with my whatever, and then I'll run if I need. And I also have nothing to prove. I don't care. If let's say you and I were like about to wear the thing, you're like, you fucking pussy, bro. I'm like, fine, I'm a pussy.
Why do you feel like you have nothing to prove?
Because why do I? Why do I have to prove anything to anybody? On this podcast, I do. I want to be interesting and entertaining, and I'm talking fast, and I want it to be engaging. But I have my own personal things that I'm self-conscious about because I'm human. But then, like, if someone's gonna fight me, oh, you fucking pussy. Fine, I'm a fucking pussy. You win, and you have a bigger cock than me, and you're the man, and you win. I don't care what this dude thinks. Fighting is stupid. It's weak.
How did you get into a mentality of not caring what people think?
Well, we all care because we're human.
Yes.
We're human.
I know to a degree, but like to the level of where you're more comfortable not caring what people think. How do you think you sharpen that muscle?
Well, I care what people. I mean, we all like even on this podcast. It feels very. There's cameras. There's 17 dudes here. Just these guys alone. I don't want to make They just keep adding dudes in this place. It's like, what are we doing?
You Chad.
You know what I mean? Yeah, Chad's here. Kevin, Brad, Michael. It's insane. Dwayne. Everybody's here, dude. Jose. I just changed it up. Seems wrong now for some reason. It's wanted to make it right, but then that seems anyway. Yeah. What are we talking about?
Any single ladies here tonight?
Yeah. What are we talking about? I forget. There was a question.
I know. I asked you.
Oh, how to not care.
Yeah. How do you not care? That's huge for me, man.
Well, we all care. So just say. But on stage and even, it kind of goes with what I just talked about. I think we all die pretty soon. Like, I'm 41, male life expectancy is like 79, 80 or something, maybe.
If you're lucky, really.
Yeah, so if I'm already halfway done if I make it. It's like, what am I going to have? And like, how many good years I got left? Am I going to be crushing it at 75? I hope. But like, who knows? So let's just say we all die soon. And so now I'm going to go a little, I think we got everything backwards in this country / world of like, what is success or what. My only measure of success of any human is, are they kind to other people, animals, and the planet? And I mess that up every day, but that's where I try to come from. So if you think I'm cool or not is irrelevant. Am I doing my best to be kind to you and nice to you? That's what matters. And so why if you call me a pussy we're at some bar or something and you're like, oh, you fucking, I'm like, okay, fine. Like, it doesn't, because then I've attached my ego to trying to like not get your ego. We all have one. I have one. We all have one. It's part of being alive, right? But to not let your ego run your decisions or a lot, I think is super important and can get you. We're like, well, who am I? Well, what am I doing? What is my purpose of being here? And we all have different purposes. We all might have different, but that's my bar of like success. Like, am I kind? So you calling me a pussy is hopefully irrelevant unless I'm in the moment and maybe I get, oh, this guy called me and then the people are watching and there's 19 dudes here and they're watching and everybody's fucking, if everybody's like, then, but you have to be like, wait, what does it matter? Am I being nice to these 22 guys here or the people, the people at like that? If I can remember that, then you don't care what people think because you only care, was I kind to people? The key is remembering it because we are
get caught up in the moment.
Because we all live in the world where there's influences everywhere we turn. There's people wanting to, particularly in America, say they're better than you. Yes. They're cooler than you. That's what we got. You know. I don't know if that answers the question.
No, it does. And in terms of like
17 inches.
Oh my god, dude. So
when does the podcast start, by the way?
Welcome to Your Only Friend.
I didn't know we were in it. I didn't know we were in it. Yeah. Can I put my pants back on? I don't know where the shot is.
You keep looking at.
Yeah. I want people to know. I want people to know what's going on. I don't know how it zoomed in.
It's gonna look sick,
dude. It's gonna look fucking sick, bro.
We're gonna send you to Weiss.
Is that still around?
Yeah, they just got right, Nick.
Weiss
is around. Yeah, Weiss is around.
Dude, great. Yeah. I had something on Weiss, I think, at some point. Something happened on Weiss.
You had something on Weiss?
I don't know. Maybe something was in Weiss somewhere. Maybe I interviewed by someone on Weiss. I don't know.
You were streaking somewhere. It ended up on Weiss.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. Have you ever streaked?
No.
Would you?
I wouldn't, but I do want to ask you this. Do people really have naked comedy shows in New York? Are you serious?
Yes. And the guy just wrote me on Instagram, or he like tagged me because he was like, because I did a joke about
guys and girls.
Yeah,
is it more guys than girls?
No, I think it's mixed a lot of times. I've actually never been to it, but I know it happened. I know comics that do it. Like we could call them right now, and they would tell you about it. Like the men and women performers are naked, and nobody can have their phones.
But they're like regular comics though, or are they naked comedians?
Most of them are regular comedians who like choose to do that as like, but there's some people who like are not doing that many shows and they're like, I got booked to do the naked show, so they'll do it. But like most are comics just like, yeah, I'll do it, whatever. Like, and I think it's supposed to be a mental thing of like, if you can get over that, like and I think the crowds, from what I hear, are one, rock hard.
Yeah.
Two, I've heard that the crowds.
Dude, if I was up there, I'd be rock hard.
Supposedly nobody is because it's so like you're mentally
probably.
And supposedly the crowds are like crazy supportive.
Of whatever you got going on.
Yeah, whatever because just doing it, and there's no phone. I think they take everyone's phones. That's why you got to take a second one if you really want to get the shot. So, I take a third because they know you're coming with the second. So, yeah, they know you're bringing at least two. So you got to take a third phone. Is really you got one of those Osmo pockets. You got to get multiple cameras. Yeah. So you got you got to take 7 cameras all over your body and just hope that one gets through the gate so that you can film. So
oh my God,
who's still watching this?
No one is. I'm sweating.
Yeah, I like the heat. You can turn it up in here. I'd be fine. Yeah, I hate the cold, dude. I'll take it 95. Just but supposedly the crowd's very supportive from what I hear because they're like so yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What's the most interesting comedy show that you've done? Maybe anything like thematically wise, like I performed at a place that had 3 clowns that showed up and.
Roast battles. You know those?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I did a roast battle against myself.
No,
yeah, Weiss versus Weiss. yeah, I did. I put up 2 mic stands, and it was at New York Comedy Club, and I did one like this, and then I just took my hat off and went to the other mic, and then like made fun of the other one, and then I put my hat back on and went back and like made.
Who won?
It was a tie. Yeah. Yeah, we both lost. Me and the audience. It was not good.
The audience didn't like it.
I wasn't very confident what I was doing because it was like packed. It was like sold out. And it was like, yeah, I think they had like a regular roast thing before me, and then it was me. I was like somewhere in the middle because it was like a novelty thing.
Oh my God.
That was interesting. What have I seen? I mean, over the years, I've seen a million things that I can. Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head that if I can think of. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff.
But you typically are performing at clubs at this point, not like circuses.
I mean, I'll perform anywhere. I mean, I performed on a bus once. This is not a good.
Like a moving bus?
Yeah. Wow. So, like Mega Bus or Bolt Bus from New York to DC. I was on. This is when I was like 2 years into comedy, or a year and anyway. Where it's like 9 in the morning, going from New York to DC. The bus breaks down. It's like 9:30 in the morning. We're on the side of the highway in New Jersey or Delaware. You know that. Yeah. It's New Yorkers and DC people, DCians, whatever you call them, DCers, DMVers, whatever the thing is. So it's like 9:30 in the morning. Everyone is beyond angry because the bus, they're just pissed. Yeah. You know what I mean? The bus driver gets up. He's got to be like 85 years old. You know those little walkies?
Yeah,
walking. He goes like, "Hey, everyone, the bus is we're waiting 2 hours for another bus to come from Port Authority to pick us up, and then we'll get on to DC." People are like, "Oh, are you fucking?" People got to get, So, and he starts telling jokes in this little thing like this. So I take a note up there and I pass it to him like, "Hey, I'm a comedian. Like, I'll do some jokes." So it's 9:30 in the morning, and I just grab. He's like, "Oh yeah." He go, "Okay, we got a comedian on the bus." So I grabbed the thing and I'm 2 years in, a year and a half. I'm terrible. So I start yelling my jokes, and it's like the crackly mic, this little walkie-talkie thing. People on the bus just like, "What the fuck? What's happening right now?" And then so I do literally 3 minutes, and I'm like, "Okay, thank you."
Oh my God!
Bomb. Then I didn't think about it. I'm still have to ride the bus.
Yeah, the whole bus.
So I'm sitting like toward the back of the bus, and I just walk back to the bus, and I just put my hood on. Like I was like cold, so I had like a hoodie or a jacket. So I just and I just sat there for the next because now I just got to sit with all the people who were like pissed at me that I was up there telling jokes. And then we stopped at a rest stop at 2 hours after that. Once we finally, one guy was like, "Hey man, that was all right." Like,
oh my God.
But I don't recommend performing in a place you have to then be with the people like in a bad scenario. Yeah. When I hear cruise ships, I haven't done, but I hear cruise ships can be like that.
If you do bad,
yeah, because then you're on the cruise with people, like you're at the buffet, and you're like,
oh my God.
You're like, I've heard you're like, I forget you told me, you're like squeezing by people on like the balconies, like, "Oh, excuse me," you know what I mean? It's like they hate
God, dude. Yeah, I would really be afraid to do a cruise ship show and do bad. Wow.
Yeah, they got others, but that's a decent story as far as that goes. Yeah.
It's cool that you were 2 years in and you're just like down to.
Well, yeah, I think yeah, there's different comics. Some people have standards, like not me. I'm doing this podcast, but no, it's great. It's some comics will only do. They're like, I will only drive 25 miles, and I got to get paid at least a certain amount, and there's got to be a good show. I'm literally, if you and I did a show right now for 1,000 people, and we got paid like good money, and then someone's like, hey, there's an open mic like behind the Dairy Queen, like, and I'm like, how far is it? 45 minutes? I'm like, we got to get there. We got to leave. Like, I just love stand up. Like, I don't care if there's no I mean, ideally I'd like to perform in places that have that helps the show, but like, I just love stand up. I will literally do that like anywhere. So like, I'll do shows anywhere, anything, yeah. And there are famous comics that I know, but like, who will do the same? I have some friends that have done quite well in this, and they'll call me and be like, dude, I walked by somewhere and like I saw an open mic at like 3 PM. I'm like, why would you do that? You're famous. And they're like, yeah, I might check it out because they just love stand up.
That's sick,
you know?
dude.
I call these people in stand up. There's now, because of the internet, there's so many ways to do it. But
yes.
There's a certain kind of comic, and there's a lot of them in New York who I call thoroughbreds, or just like, they just love stand-up. There are comics in New York been doing it 10, 15, 20, 25 years that are incredible. They're not famous. They'll never be famous because this business is dumb, and they just love stand-up. They'll go to Brooklyn and perform for 6 people. Then they'll go to Hoboken, perform for 12. Then they'll go do the clubs, perform for 100, 200. Then they'll go do, like, they just love stand-up. And there's people like that all over the country, too, but there's a lot in New York. Then there's people who, like, do stand-up as a hobby, and that's fine, too. There's no right or wrong. You know, it's like a bowling league. They bowl once a week, and they like drink with their friends, and that's fine, too. And then there's people that, like, are YouTube stars who will just do stand-up once a month when they sell out the big theater here.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, so yeah, I don't know, I'm just rambling, but.
Do you think stand-up and philosophy have any correlation? Like philosophers?
Yeah. I mean, you know, people will say, like, modern day philosophers you hear about stand-up.
That's what I mean. Like, what's your thoughts on that statement?
I guess. I mean, I guess I don't even know. I don't even know how relevant anything is because there's so many.
It's so noisy.
Yeah. Like, back in the day, if you wrote a book like Aristotle or one of these, like, there's like 6 books. So, like, we all read. Now it's like everyone, half the people I know have written books.
Yeah.
They're in Barnes & Noble, or they self-published it on Amazon, or like. Everyone has a book, a blog, has a podcast, a channel, making videos, and they're, you know, your mom's writing a newsletter to the local whatever. Like, everyone's got. I'm like, I don't know if any of it, Like, who's gonna, you know what I mean?
The way that I look at YouTube and this podcast, to be clear, and for the record, is like my grandchildren hopefully will be watching this.
Oh, that's cool.
So like, I really look at it where it's like documentation. But that's just a little thing.
But for that, don't you have to find like a woman that would have kids with you?
That is.
Are you kidding me? Whoa,
bro!
You better pray to this lighted up rock over here for somebody to.
I need a kid. Oh my god!
You want to have kids?
I do want to have kids.
Whoa!
You didn't want to have kids?
I have no idea anymore. Yeah.
You don't even know.
Yeah, I like how you said I didn't. Like, it's over for me for good.
I don't know if it is. The way you talk is like.
Yeah. I'm just out there.
You're out there?
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I'm just on my own, just doing comedy out of my car. Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah. That's it. This is what it is.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, this is it, dude.
No, it's not.
Yeah. What else? Yeah, I don't know. How's stand-up going for you?
First question of the mic.
You're getting funny. Should I have asked more?
No, I'm kidding. You said I was getting funny. That's awesome.
You've gotten real funny, yeah, from the last time I saw you.
Yeah. I didn't even think you saw me before, so it meant a lot that
I
you
haven't watched you any of these times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying this so people know. No, yeah, you're getting real funny.
Thank you, bro.
I haven't seen another comic since 09.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just tell them they were great, but I haven't actually watched anyone since 09.
Dude, so I'm trying to get better at hosting this year.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for me?
I don't like giving comedy advice because I think we all do it differently.
Yeah, and Kenny gave me that speech too about
yeah, well, he
there's
stinks,
no right. Yeah,
but there's no right. Kenny's great.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong way to do it. So, here's some advice I got, and I'll give it to you from Ryan Reese, who I've learned a lot of hosting from. He's a guy in New York who, like, Ryan, he does TV warm up for a bunch of shows in New York.
Oh, that's
and
sick.
he is like, I didn't always love the way, but for hosting specifically, like, my style is different than his. But at first I kind of like fought him on some, but the show is always good no matter what. His thing is like this. I don't want to speak for him, but like from the show is always good. Like, the show is good. People came, like, never down it, like, oh, well, sorry, the show sucks.
Oh,
Like, he is always, like, up, hey, we're going to have a great time. And he almost, like, I don't know what the word is, like, wills people into, like, he's like, come on, he makes people, like,
really
come on, let's
trains
go.
them,
He makes it's almost like bullying, or not bullying, but, like, the crowd doesn't know what to do. A lot of people, it's their first comedy show. They've never been to one, so it's like he makes it, it's almost like a ringleader. He takes, and I think that's a good way to do it. It's like, upbeat, positive. Here's what I don't like as far as hosting. Let's say you're doing 10 minutes up top to host. I don't like when a host. I mean, there's no right or wrong way, but I think I personally, if I'm hosting and I host a fair amount, because I'm one of the greats, and when I host, I will usually do, if I'm doing 10 minutes up top, I will do 5 or 6 minutes. Well, I don't know, 3-4 minutes of crowd work. Where you from? You celebrating anything? You know, the classics that you know. And then I will close with like 5 or 6 minutes of jokes, because if you're first, I want the crowd to know that, like, we tell jokes. If a host just does crowd work the entire time, and some do, and some people like it, I personally am not a huge fan, because if I'm a joke teller, which I am, I also do crowd, but like I'm a joke teller, and the crowd needs to know that, like, jokes. Like, as a host, I think it's nice to end on like jokes.
Yes.
Some jokes, so that at least some. So you don't have to do it the whole time, but, like, so the crowd knows, like, oh, jokes are about to happen.
Yes.
And then set them up with, like, hey, I will say this if I host too, like, you know, listen, you can yell stuff while I'm up here. I don't really care. I don't have much of a career, but the people I bring up, like, that's, you know, let them do their thing. They're great. They write amazing stuff. They're fantastic. Let them.
Yes.
And then so the crowd knows I'll be here all night. When I'm back up, you can yell stuff. You know. So I think that's one way to do it.
I noticed that yesterday. You
Yeah.
said that, and you were like just hopping on to the show, and you still said it because the room was so chatty, right? Do you kind of do that sometimes just to bring people in, even if you're not hosting?
Yeah, because I riled that room up.
Yes, you did.
It got quite rowdy to where people were taking their clothes off.
Yes.
So then there was one more comic after me, and I didn't want them to be just drunk, yelling, shouting.
Yeah.
I wanted them to be I didn't get to do what I wanted. Like, because at first I was trying to do jokes, and I was like, I can't even. People are so rowdy, I can't even.
Yeah.
And so I just started kind of doing crowd work, and then it became even more rowdy, and then I wanted the next comic to be able at least to have a shot at doing jokes, you know. And they were pretty quiet, actually.
Yeah,
they were actually very quiet. You guys got more warm milk?
Do you need water?
No, I'm good. Yes, okay.
All right, so talk to me about Perfect World the next year, man. What does this next year look like for Lance?
Wow, the next year.
You got the Prius.
Yeah, well, I just want to keep doing comedy, like just literally the same thing I'm doing. I like, obviously, I like when people come out, and I like to do bigger crowds and have more people and make more people. That's it. That's all I want to do. That's all I've ever wanted to do.
Just more of it.
Yeah, that's all I've ever wanted to do. Like, oh my God, fuck.
That was sick. Yeah.
What I always wanted to, yes, if I got a TV show, great. Sure, if this podcast took off, great. Sure, if I made Instagram videos and they became viral, great. But that's all fun. I always just want to do stand-up. It's all because I love, put me in a room with 3 people who want to listen to some jokes, or 300, or 3,000, whatever, like, or 30,000, or 300,000, whatever the next one is, 3 million. I just want to do I like stand-up, so
That's
it all
cool,
comes
man.
back to stand-up. So just if I can make a little more money and do a little bit bigger credit and just keep it growing and keep doing it, that's all. And if you got a podcast like this in Nashville with 50 listeners or 32 listeners in Denver, I will be there. Let me know, guys.
Yo,
What about you? What do you want out of the next year? How many years in?
A year and a half,
A year and a half. So
basically.
what do you want in the next year?
I want to get specifically really good at, no, not really good.
Stop bombing. 1, 2.
Yeah, stop bombing. One. That'll never happen, right?
You've been doing great from what I see. Yeah.
I want to get really good at hosting.
Yeah,
I'd like
hosting,
to do. Yeah, I told Kenny that like in the beginning of this year. I was like, if I could really just get better at hosting.
Yeah.
Because I like hosting. I genuinely like.
Well, we
being
love
the
you,
first
Kevin.
one.
Yeah.
Shut up,
No,
dude.
sorry. The guy who doesn't even know whose podcast he's on.
Yeah, we love you, dude. You've been doing great, Brian. Like, dude, fucking. Yeah, no, I mean, for me, I'd like to just get better at hosting. I'm in a good place right now with like being able to get stage time. I feel like so. Get better and write more jokes.
Yeah.
I'm just so early on. I would love to continue this podcast, and
great.
will. But that's basically the year. I'm really busy right now, specifically. Maybe I was telling you before the show, like, which is real estate, man. I'm just real busy, and I love it because I love real estate. I do.
Yeah.
But I love comedy.
Sure.
And so this podcast really helps me because, like you said, it's Sunday. It's in the middle of the day right now. It's 5 o'clock. You know, we're just chilling. What else was I going to be doing? Just working more? Or, you know, some random nonsense. So I love this podcast. It's very different than stand-up. You know, it's 100% different.
Yeah.
And then stand-up, obviously, like, is such a vehicle for me to meet people. When I started it, I just moved to St. Pete.
Yeah.
So, like, meeting people was a big reason I almost started stand-up. And
Well,
then,
that makes sense, yeah.
You know, also just, like, what I was telling you about public speaking over the years and stuff like that. But
What are your public speaking tips to someone who, like, let's say I'm nervous. What would you tell
traditional
someone?
public speaking tips is, like, be prepared, honestly. Like, as stupid as that sounds, like, if it's, like, public speaking.
Sure.
I did a corporate gig.
Yeah? Where?
It was in Hyde Park, which is, like, a really, like, nice part of Tampa.
I'm trying to get a corporate gig at that Hooters over by... the guy who just says Hooters. Okay, go ahead.
Dude, no. I actually was looking at that Hooters today. I was at a listing appointment, and it was overlooking that Treasure Island Hooters.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Man. I saw it right through the windows and everything.
I ate at Hooters. Did I tell you, do you hear me talk about this on stage? I ate at Hooters by myself recently.
Yeah, why was that?
In Jacksonville, Florida.
Why?
Because I'd already eaten at Waffle House and Taco Bell the nights before that, and the only other thing open was Hooters. And it felt terrible.
Yeah, you said the
women were like, I was like, are these women 13? I was like, I felt terrible. It didn't feel right. I'll tell you that. But they got good wings, as people always say. You know,
well, the Hooters girls, they like if you work at Hooters, they pay for your entire college tuition,
which is hilarious beyond belief.
I don't know. I just made that up. That would be nuts. That would be nuts, wouldn't it?
They do that because no woman has ever made it to college there. They literally all get picked up by some 65-year-old dude. That's why they got that deal. Every woman there is like met a sugar daddy.
Oh my god!
That's it. Yeah, they've all went off on some yacht with some dude. That's why.
That's why the Hooters right there is so good in Treasure Island because they have like boat slips.
Sure. Oh yeah, of course.
Legitly.
Yeah.
On the real though, I haven't been to Hooters since my 21st birthday. So
Don't lie, dude. Don't lie to us.
I swear.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Hooters since my 21st birthday.
Dude, we should go after this.
I can't go in there after I try to get like the lap dances and stuff like that.
At Hooters? The Hooters lap dance?
Yeah, that would be nuts. But yeah, Lance, I mean, that's a little bit about me going on for the next year.
Yeah.
What did you think of Clearwater
I love
last
it.
night? Like, well, you were there this weekend. So
I like it.
You liked it?
Fucking crushed all weekend. Domination, the usual. And this is me just trying to get laughs. If I don't feel like you guys are laughing, I just have to keep talking till I feel like maybe we hit a laugh point. Yeah, it's great. It's awesome.
And you're going to be at Sunshine. It probably won't be out by next weekend, but you're going to be at Sunshine next weekend. So,
what are we recording this in 2022? So I hope it comes out at some point.
Bro, I'm like sweating. I'm like tearing. I'm like just wet. I need to like take a shower after this.
Yeah.
You have a show. You have 2 shows.
I'm not even
this.
sweating, I don't think.
I don't know how. You have a zipper?
I grew up in South Georgia. It's hot.
Oh, true.
It's humid beyond. I love the heat. I'm comfortable right now.
Were you? How close were you growing up to like the Florida Georgia line?
30 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe it's 37 minutes on the interstate.
Sick.
Whatever. Yeah, it's right there.
So you're familiar with like Jacksonville, kind of?
Oh yeah. Jacksonville and Savannah are the 2 towns.
That's cool.
That like we did. Yeah.
I evacuated Savannah. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Savannah. Did you feel like Savannah? Nick, were you in Savannah with us? Oh no, he wasn't. He stayed here.
What about you, Kevin, Brad, Mike, Steven, John, Eric, Jamie? None of you guys?
Shut up, dude. What did you think Savannah was like an eerie town?
Well, it's a ghost town. That's
right, though?
I think one of their things is like America's #1 ghost town or something.
And then there's that school there, SCAD.
Savannah College of
Did
Art
you
and
hear
Design.
about that, though?
What do you mean?
Like, it's the highest suicide rate out of any college.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
And that's what made me feel when I heard
Really?
that. Yes, I swear. A lot of people were telling me that. Like the whole town was
wonder
walking
why
in
that-
single file line telling me that.
Oh, that's interesting. I did not know.
Yeah.
But it's a fantastic art school.
I heard that.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just
probably
if
maybe
you
why
survive.
it has. Maybe that's why. I don't.
It's
not,
probably like Whiplash is what I imagine it as, where it's like they're pushing the students.
Is that,
yeah, the drummer
yeah, I
one.
remember
with
that movie. That was a
yeah,
great movie.
Yeah, with Miles Teller, I think. Yeah.
I'm not good with
You're
like.
not good with the
but
movie
that was
game?
a drum movie or
Yeah,
drum
it
one,
was-
whatever. Yeah. Oh no, I didn't see Whip. Did I see Whiplash? There was another drum movie at one point.
No, this is like the only drummer.
Oh, well, maybe I saw that one. But
You
anyway.
definitely did. The dude's like fucking
Oh,
sweating.
yeah, I
He's
think I
going
did
nuts.
see it. Yeah. So, but it's one of the best art schools like in the country, and maybe if that is a correct statement, maybe the creative people, dude, comics are not well. If you've been watching this podcast, like, I'm not well. Like, who knows
You're
what the fuck
looking
you're
at me.
wearing?
You're like, what is
We're
this?
not well,
This
dude.
is advice from
yeah,
a horse.
Yeah.
It
This is
says.
not. We're not doing well. So maybe it's SCAD. It's the best art because the people there are not doing well. Their artists are out of their mind. Like all humans are wacky and crazy, but like artists might skew a little more deeper on that thing.
Yeah.
And so if you're in art school it's some of the best art school, you're gonna get people with some of the most mental disorders and problems, and so that's maybe why if that's a real statement, I believe you.
I
that,
know, it
so
really is, yeah.
that might be why. I mean, maybe there's other factors that they're not talking about, but.
And I'm sure 2025 there'll be like a new high record or a new school that comes out.
Yeah,
like
when
with
this comes out in
SCAD,
3
you know.
years, but yeah, maybe that's if that is true. Yeah, maybe the creative people just are struggling the most. That's why they're able to create such interesting stuff. You know,
When do you write typically for jokes?
not as much anymore. For my first 10 years, I used to, when I worked all these jobs that I didn't want to do, I'd work from like 10 to 6 or 9 to 5 in New York, and I would spend 1 hour every day after that writing, just journaling. 1 hour. For 10 years straight, I wrote an hour a day pretty much. Now I rarely do that, and I should do it a lot more if you've seen my act. But now I just put it in my phone, right? Since phones come out, you just, you know, maybe you're like walking down the street and you see something and you're like,
Or you think of something,
and so you do that, right? That's and then I'll work on that on stage, you know, like tonight. And I'm a big, I don't know if you saw me last night, like I'm a big fan of taking notes on stage.
Yeah.
A lot of I'm a fan of shorts.
What the fuck was that about?
The crowd or notes?
No, the notes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you. You were like,
I'll probably
were
do
you
that tonight.
grading the jokes?
Well, now I kind of do it as a bit. Like I never really like. I never really like when I don't like when comics try and like hide their notes. They're like they're like it's like, do we see you looking at your notes? So I make it a very like, I get a book and I'm like here and I take a pen and it's like I'm showing the crowds like these are the jokes I'm doing. It's like and I think it's good to try new jokes and it keeps it interesting and fun for me. What was the question I keep for you? I just keep yelling at you.
What's the fucking system of you going up there with a notebook? Like what were you writing down?
Nothing.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
nothing. Just me usually. I'll cross them off.
It was
like,
funny when like you would like work with people in the crowd and you would act like you're, you know, like writing them on the list and stuff.
Sometimes mid set, I'll be like, oh man, I had this thing upside down the entire time, and I'll like send the whole book upside down. Yeah, but it's usually just me because if I'm doing a lot of new jokes, I can't remember them. Like tonight, I have 2 shows directly after this because I'm working a lot, and. I'll try a lot of new jokes tonight, and I'll try 10 new jokes at the beginning of a set because it's interesting to me, and I think
And then you'll still win it back at the end.
well, sometimes
Hopefully, yes,
But I think I'm funny enough to like. I have a pretty good idea if they're going to work. I'm like, I think that's pretty funny, and then I'm pretty confident in like.
Your fail jokes, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty and it's like, and if I think it's fun, and I'm making it with the notepad, people see like, oh, well, maybe I think it works.
Workshopping.
Yeah, I think it
absolutely.
works. Yeah, so I don't know.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
But what did you learn from writing every day for 10 years? Like, what was that like?
More
What do you
just
make of it?
personal stuff, really.
Really?
Like, I think everybody should journal.
Do you still have those journals?
Oh yeah, I got hundreds
sick,
of them.
dude.
Yeah, or
That's
however many of them. I think every human should. I think three of the most important things you can do. One, drink water.
Mm-hmm.
I think most of us dehydrated beyond belief. You should always just drink more water than but not too much because you could die. But
Yeah.
you had to drink a crazy amount of water. But most of us, I think, when you're not feeling well, you're not feeling well in the sense of life, oh man, I didn't we all get the I kind of feel that way now. I have something, we always have something going on that's like in our back of our head. Like, we're in this podcast talking, but I got 3 or 4 things in my mind that are pissing me off.
I'm fucking mad,
and you do too, and fucking these 80 guys do too. They all, so the
You were talking about how there's 3 important things.
Well, drink water. When you're not drink water, one. Then I think going on a walk is huge. Put your phone away, in your back pocket, or leave it at somewhere, and just walk. Look at the birds, look at the trees, look at a bus going by, or some people on their bike. I think that will because you didn't realize your problems aren't that big a deal. You're it's just
Wow.
I think walking, and then I think journaling, because journaling's how you find out who you are. Because you have to it's just you in the paper. If you write with the intention of nobody's gonna ever see this, maybe they will because you lose a notebook and everybody finds out something about you didn't want, but because you're human and you have weird stuff. But I think if you write with the intention of this is just for me and no one's gonna see. Eventually you come with hard questions. You reach dead ends or personal. Well, what am I doing? Did I love that person from 10 years ago? Why was I doing that? What is my sexuality? Is there a God? Should I move to San Diego?
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's is drinking good? Do I really need to drink to do things? I never did drugs. Should I try that? You really,
Holy shit.
and whatever those are, they're different they're different for all of us. You really find out who you are journaling, I think that's important.
But the free flow of just scribbling and journaling.
That's
is
the way
what
I
you're
journal.
saying.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
hot right now. I'm having a good time. I'm nervous I think I got something in my eyes kind of bothering me. There's you know what I mean? Whatever,
it's just your downloading.
I just journal, and it's man, why? So what? And then you get to because you get through some of that, I guess, and that's important too. But then you get to a point where you start I don't know, and there's different journaling books that could give you prompts what are the 5 things you're grateful for? What are there's a million of those, but I think journaling, you find out who you are and what matters to you on this short time that we're here on this planet, and then go for a walk and drink water. I don't know why I got into these 3 things, but I think those are highly important things to do.
All right. On that subject,
Partywithlance.com. Yes.
12 inches.
Yeah.
How can you obtain, if even possible, maybe you can't, but how can you obtain more self-awareness by doing comedy? On this journey of stand-up, how do you get feedback more on your own personal self? Because I get it, it's laughs is one thing.
Yeah.
And you can record your sets, obviously, and but self-awareness, it seems like you're a pretty self-aware guy, and I'm just kind of curious, how do you obtain more self-awareness, or do you think that you can't obtain self-awareness?
You definitely can get. It's a practice. I'm not saying I don't think I'm aware at all.
Oh, really?
My intention is to be aware. I feel bad I haven't asked you more questions on the podcast. Even though I'm the guest, I still feel should I have asked more questions?
No.
What, did I talk too fast? And I guess that is being aware to a degree, but you're never as aware as you think you are. You want to be.
But it seems like you know yourself very well. Is what I'm trying
try
to say.
to. Yeah, I mean,
and that's a hard question to ask. It's how do you, how are you supposed to know yourself?
Oh,
deeper?
I got a good for this question. I think you be open to people and be open to everything. The closed-minded person is the person who doesn't go anywhere or doesn't achieve, because you've narrowed your world. If I do a show tonight, I'm doing a show directly after this, and I'm a 41-year-old straight white male. If a 82-year-old, woman, tiny black woman, I'm not trying, but a little old black woman comes up to me and has a note on my set, that's someone vastly different than me, right? Their life experience, their everything. It's very worthwhile for me to hear that.
Absolutely.
Then right after that, if a 18-year-old gay Asian kid comes up to me, their opinion is just as valid, equally as valid to the black woman.
That's cool.
Be open to everyone's everyone's suggestions, or like sometimes I'll do jokes because it's part of stand-up. You'll have someone kind of be like, I didn't like that joke, and that made me feel bad. And I'll ask them, I go, well, what made you feel bad about it? Like I'm genuinely like, I'm sorry that you didn't like that one, but can you tell me why? I'm curious to hear why. Now, a lot of times that person's usually drunk and they just want to yell at you. But I will hear it. I'll go, well, tell me why. Like, oh, I'm sorry it made you feel that way. That wasn't my goal, and I just wanted you to have a good time. I'm sorry I made you feel bad. Like, and I will take this note into consideration, and I thank you for telling me. Like, I will try to have that approach, but usually that person's drunk because that's the same person that wants to come yell at you for like, and I fucking hate it. I'm like, well, now we're not. I can't really. But I think being open to every person, I think when you start getting an ego, and we all have one, but when you start being like, well, I'm the fucking man, I'm the shit, and these young comics or these audience, they don't give a fuck. I think that's when you hurt yourself, as you're talking about introspective or human, because you know better than anybody else. Nobody's better than anybody else. Nobody's more important than anybody else. But we forget it because we are human. You know, I'll walk into a show tonight and be like, I'm fucking from New York. I've been doing this.
Exactly.
But I have to kill that because that's not, because I get bombed just as easy as anybody else. And like, I think you got to kill those things. Yeah, so put your ego in check and then remind yourself, why am I doing this? What is the point of me being here? And I have to tell myself, it's like, I look at the crowd and go, okay, there's 9 people here, or there's 50 people here, whatever. I'm like, how can I make these people's day a little better? I'm pretty good at this with the skills I've been given. I'm not a chef. I'm terrible at cooking. I'm not an auto mechanic. I don't know how to change a car tire. I don't like, those are not my skills. Someone else has those skills to contribute to the world. My skill is, you're divorced and you're going through, you just lost your job. Then I'm like, we can laugh about it. I can probably get some make you laugh. I can probably make your day a little better, hopefully. And so I think if you come from that, it helps you stay in a mindset of not being a, I don't know, there's a lot of comics that become pieces of shits, like, as they go up. Like, there's a lot of people I've been friends with who, like, become not cool as they got famous. Because the human ego. Dude, greed, ego, money, power, fame, like, it's those are diseases. And I think in any field, you have to, like, check I think the best people who are introspective and really serving the world in a way that's best are killing all that stuff. Yeah, I think anyway, that's a long-winded answer.
They're putting their ego aside.
You have to do it to the best of your ability. Yes. Because we're all human, we get caught up in it.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
No, I mean, that's really what I came here for, was to get that life advice. Are we good, Nick? Yep. Okay.
What time is it? Yeah. What else?
Good. No.
Anything else? Is it over? Are we still recording?
We're still recording, but Lance, honestly, bro, that was fire.
Was it?
Dude, yeah.
It was fire, huh?
That last little bit, I'm saying specifically for me personally. The rest of it was great, absolutely. I'm just saying to what you just spoke on, that's like a really good piece of advice for me and many other comedians who might be watching this now or in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope, you know. I want the world to be better than it is. I think we can do better than we do as people. I don't know. I think we can all do a little better, myself included. I don't know.
Why?
Else? Because I think it's all that matters. All that matters is being kind to other people, animals, and the planet. All the other things, winning awards, in my opinion, this is my view, 100%. My version of success. A lot of times we'll see people and they'll be like, oh, that person's so successful. I'm like, but they're a piece of shit. Yeah. They're not, everything they've done is terrible. They're not, in my mind, they're not success. I think they're massive failures. If you're not kind to people, you're a massive failure. The person, we're in a building now, the people who work at the bottom of this building, like doing security, if they're kind, they've figured it out. Yes. They figured out that we're all here for a short amount of time. We're all connected. They figured out that it's just about being kind to one. Then the rich person who works in this building, who's mean to those people and is angry, like that person hasn't. I'm like, you're 48 years old and you're just fucking nasty. You haven't figured it out. Like, yeah, you make $3 million a year. Now you have $15 million. Like, but you're mean to the people. You haven't figured out that we'll all die soon. Like your money, like your Porsche you pulled up in and your 15, like it doesn't matter. Like, and I think a lot of us, we all get caught up in that. And anyway, I'm just ranting at you now, but.
I'm feeling yelled and attacked.
I'm
the rich guy.
Yeah. What about you 47 guys? Do you guys feel upset?
All right. Lance, thank you so much for coming on to the show, my man.
Partywithlance.com, at partywithlance on the things. Just come to the live shows and watch this podcast.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Tune in for the next episode shortly, and please like and subscribe. make sure you follow Party with Lance. Have a great day.
Smash that like button. Smash it.
Let's go.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye. Dude.
You guys want to go to Taco Bell?